tonight's game. Ethan, what do you think?
I have a few takeaways here. The main one, I feel like a broken record saying it, but missed tackles, missed tackles, missed tackles. It's been a problem since the Colorado game. It's still a problem now. And it's not just the defense, too. The offense had a lot of miscues, 2 ill-timed interceptions by Josh Hoover, a lot of overthrows. It didn't seem like any phase, defense, special teams, or offense, was ever in a groove or playing cohesively. And, just going in, having to win 2 out of the next 3 games to make a bowl game, and having to play Texas and Oklahoma, it's not seeming very likely that TCU will play in a bowl this year, which is kind of crazy to say, just being 1 year removed from a national championship, but that's the reality we're living in. I love the way they responded early. It shows real growth for them to not let that bad start spiral into not having a good first half, as we've seen the past 2 weeks. And as you mentioned, the guys, all around great performance, offense, defense, special teams. The D-line had a great impact on this game of getting pressure on Shapen the entire game. And even guys that had some mistakes. Amani Bailey had that early fumble, but for him to come back and still log 2 rushing touchdowns shows the resiliency of this team, which is super important going into Norman next week in a playoff-esque scenario must-win game. Thanks, guys. I'm here at Globe Life Field where crews are getting set up for the game tonight as the Rangers are in town to take on the Diamondbacks. And this is quite the improbable World Series matchup, as during the regular season, both these teams combined for 174 wins, which is the lowest total ever in a World Series. Not to mention, it has been a while since both of these teams have been to the World Series. The Diamondbacks have not been here since 2001. I think it's the same thing we saw last week. 7 points against Texas Tech in that first half last week, 6 points in the first half this week. When your offense is having to scurry like that in the second half to try and make up for a ton of ground, it just puts you in a bad situation. And we saw again, it was too little, too late, and just big mistakes on both sides of the ball. Millard Bradford gets the interception, fumbles on the return. Josh Hoover, there was a late interception before the half, and that ends up being another score for the Texas Longhorns. And then it's a 3-score game, and against a really good team like Texas, it's hard to come back. But on the bright side, there was some good individual performances. Savion Williams had career marks in almost every category. Amani Bailey surpassed 1,000 rushing yards. These are things that the Frogs can build on going into next week against Baylor.
According to the CDC, an estimated 187 people in the U.S. die every day from an opioid overdose. TCU is doing its part to stop that number from going up by offering monthly training sessions on how to use Narcan. Anna Claire Payne has that story. If you're driving around Fort Worth at night, you might notice many of the city lights dimmed or turned off. It is done on purpose to help migrating birds. Most birds migrate at night, and bright lights can confuse or disorient them on their journey. So to help, Fort Worth is supporting the Lights Out initiative. You can join too. Just turn off your lights from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. through the month of November. And as we head into the weekend, TCU hopes to bring home another football win as they face Kansas State with backup QB Josh Hoover leading the Frogs. Delaney Vega has more on what to expect from this weekend. TCU student jazz group, the Purple and White Blues, hosted the Vocal Jazz Academy last Saturday for a day of workshops. Yeah, I think as soon as the Falcons run into someone that has a good run defense, I think they might be a little suspect when Desmond Ridder has to throw the ball more than 15 times. But I kind of want to stay in the NFC South for my fraudulent 2-0 team as well. The Saints, they played the Panthers and Titans both very close. Derek Carr's had a bit of a rough start there. And I'm not sure I trust Dennis Allen as a head coach. He's never really had a winning season. But I will give the defense their flowers. Maybe they can make a playoff push. But I'm just worried about them. But on the flip side there, at 0-2, I think the Vikings are going to be okay. They just traded for Cam Akers today to help Alexander Madison, and they played the Eagles, who were in the Super Bowl. They played them really close. They almost came back. Their defense is very suspect, though, so that is to be seen. But I think they can improve on that front. But Big Kirko has been waking up dripping like this. I will say that. The Vikings will be fine. The Rangers are facing their Texas rival, the Houston Astros, in the American League Championship Series. With hopes of making it to the World Series, the Rangers are currently tied in the series 2-2. The two teams will face off in Game 5 this afternoon in Arlington at 4 p.m. Welcome back. It's a big football weekend here in Fort Worth. The Horned Frogs will play one of their oldest rivals, the SMU Mustangs. The 102nd Battle for the Iron Skillet kicks off at 11 a.m. on Saturday from Amon G. Carter Stadium. The Frogs are 7-point favorites against SMU. If you can't make the game, you can watch on FS1.
The TCU community has been in a state of grief ever since the Wes Smith tragedy happened, and now, more than ever, students are being cautious about their safety around Fort Worth, especially off of West 7th Street in the entertainment district where the tragedy happened.
Yeah, I haven't gone since then, and if I do go back anytime soon, it won't be for a while. And I'll definitely, if I do go back, it'll be a different approach for sure. Staying in groups, avoiding certain areas, because I know there's certain parts of West 7th that people don't go to in general, but I would definitely be super hesitant to go back. But if I did, I'd have a completely different strategy. I wouldn't walk alone, because I know that night I was walking along right where it happened. I was there 10 minutes before by myself. So yeah, it would definitely make me rethink everything for sure.
Most fraternities and sororities have advised their members to stay away from the area, and Kappa Kappa Gamma is even sending their members to standards if they are seen off of West 7th in the entertainment district.
I'm probably not going to go back at all. I think it really put a big impact in the TCU community, especially when it's kind of you don't want to go out and risk your life while partying, which you don't really get associated with having a good time in the party district with a death happening. So it's just it really impacted me in that way, because you don't want to risk your life by going somewhere, and it could happen. It's unfortunate too, because it happens in college campuses all around the United States, and it just so happened to happen in our community, which really made me think about my actions and what I should avoid, because it's affecting people everywhere. So I'm probably not going to go back.
For an area that has many for-lease signs and closed businesses already, it is to be seen how the entertainment district will be affected by essentially losing the TCU community due to this tragedy. For TCU News Now, I'm Ethan Love. The state fair is back in action, and Texans are going out in droves to enjoy games, rides, live music, and most importantly, to eat all the great food the fair has to offer. There are plenty of new options this year, such as the Bao Bao tacos and the Fruity Pebble pickle, but one in particular piqued my interest, the fried Texas barbecue shotgun shells.
Okay, we put in 2.5 pounds of cream cheese, 2.5 pounds of cheddar cheese, and 5 pounds of brisket. We mix it all together.
There's a lot that goes into the shotgun shells, so I talked to creator Clint Duncan about the story behind it.
I've watched a lot of videos that had a lot of thinking, and barbecue is big in Texas, and so I was just thinking of different things we could do. We used brisket in a few stands already last year for some nachos and things that was successful. And when I saw a few videos on the shotgun shells, I said I could take that and transfer that into a fried product.
Clint has two new creations this year, the fried Texas barbecue shotgun shells and the deep fried Texas oatmeal pie. Both were semi-finalists of the State Fair of Texas 2023 Big Tex Choice Awards food competition. Clint let me try them both, and they were delicious. All of the stands where new foods can be found are conveniently marked so the consumer knows where to look. To see all new items, go to the official Texas State Fair website. For TCU News Now, I'm Ethan Love. We're here for the season opener of TCU football. Kickoff was set for a bright and early 11 a.m. TCU actually set a new attendance record today, and you could hear it every time they scored. Although the Frogs fought hard, 2 red zone interceptions would prove to be their downfall, losing 45-42 to Colorado. They play next week against Nicholls State and will look to bounce back. For the first time since 2016, postseason baseball is back in North Texas. Game 3 of the ALDS is the first playoff game the Rangers have played in Globe Life Field, and fans are excited for October baseball to be back in Arlington.
Well, it's really fun because we haven't had this experience since 2016, and it's fun to see the environment and see how loud it can get in here.
The Rangers were able to complete the sweep of the Orioles off of a strong pitching performance by Nathan Eovaldi and home runs from star players Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, and Nathaniel Lowe.
On Sunday in Baltimore. Goldschwung, right field, forget about it. Rangers strike first. Out here, Garcia gets up on top of that ball, hammers it to left field. What a swing! It's gone!
Against Kyle Gibson. Lowe is 0 for 2 tonight.
There's Lowe getting a hold of one. He finally finds it in a big way.
And when the Rangers got that final out to win the series, it was electric.
And Jordan Westberg is the last hope for the Orioles.
And the Texas Rangers are going to the championship series.
With the Astros win over the Twins, this now sets up a battle for Texas ALCS. Game 1 is set for 7:15 Sunday night. For TCU News Now, I'm Ethan Love.